Hey everyone, I'm Gabriel. I'm a Hanna Somatic educator. Today I want to talk to you about a topic that is at the core of Hanna Somatic education and also at the core of many of the chronic issues plaguing humanity. Now, Thomas Hanna identified this as a central problem that leads us to many of the intractable issues like muscular pain, postural imbalances, and chronic illness. More broadly, Hanna theorized that many of the things we typically associate with the natural course of aging are actually the results of a phenomenon whereby we forget how to feel and how to move our bodies freely and voluntarily. He named this phenomenon sensory motor amnesia. Sensory motor amnesia is generally defined as a dual loss of control and awareness. It's a functional deficit, meaning you will not see it on an MRI or using X-ray imaging technology. There's nothing structurally wrong here. There's nothing damaged that will be discovered with normal diagnostics, meaning we're not talking about neuropathy, which is damage to motor or sensory nerves. Instead, the idea is simply that we forget how to move freely, and therefore we are unable to accurately experience our bodies. The results of sensory motor amnesia are the various ailments that are commonly thought of as stress-related, psychosomatic, idiopathic, meaning of unknown origin, and generally are not very responsive to conventional Western medicine. Now, to understand what I'm talking about here, it's important that we have some foundational assumptions. Assumption one is that you have control over your body through your skeletal muscles. Every single muscle that is connected to a bone that moves you through space, maintains your posture, is a voluntary muscle. When you walk, dance, get up in the morning, lie down at night, create sounds with your voice, make silly faces, or do push-ups at the gym, this is all because of skeletal muscles. Think about that for a second. Everything that you do. And any medical physiology or biology text will confirm that for you. You theoretically have control over your skeletal muscles, not some of them, all of them. And you have as much capacity for control of your muscles in your hand as you do over the muscles in your shoulder, your back, your hip, your knee, your feet, which means that if you don't like what your muscles are doing, you should be able to tell them to do something different and should expect that they comply and comply quickly. Standing up straight, being aligned with gravity, moving and relaxing at will should not be an issue, and unless your nerves and joints have severely degraded over the course of your life, that ability need not diminish. Now, judging by the fact that people get prescribed muscle relaxers, they use foam rollers, they seek out physical therapists and massage therapists to deal with muscles, we can assume that for many of us, this first assumption is not their reality. Okay then, assumption two. Wherever and whenever there is movement, there is something to feel. Just like every tree in that proverbial forest does indeed make a sound when it falls, every action within your body sends sensory feedback to your spinal cord and brain. The reason I say that is that you have nerves running parallel to your motor nerves throughout your entire body. So wherever there is a nerve coming out from your brain and spinal cord to your voluntary muscles, there is a sensory nerve right next to that sending information back into your spinal cord and brain. And also every other region of your body, your skin, your other organs, your digestive system. All this information is information about positioning, contraction levels, pain sensations, hot and cold, emotions, endorphin levels, and it's all feeding back into your nervous system about the state you're in, the state the joints are in, and the state your organs are functioning. This is a lot of information traveling back and forth throughout your nervous system. To be fair, this is way more information than you would ever want to deal with. So in reality, when you go about your daily routine of activities, you're not actually voluntarily controlling your muscles. Neither are you controlling them when you sit at your desk or talk to your friends. You are also not feeling anywhere near the full extent of the sensations flooding into your brain at every moment about the state you are in. That would be incredibly overwhelming. So this gets us to assumption number 3. And that is that voluntary movement and conscious sensation are not just linked together, but they're also relative. When you are moving with full control, there is more to feel. The reason the issues of aging happen as we age is that we become more patterned in our actions. The more routine we become in our routines, the less we have to actually pay attention to what we are doing. The way you sit, stand, walk, dance, they become automatic. And when that happens, you no longer feel at the conscious level what it is that we are doing. So this is where the idea of sensory motor amnesia derives from. As we typically age, the results of stress, injury, occupational hazards like sitting at a desk or enacting repetitive actions, they lead to the result that we move with more patterns and less controlled movement. And as we control our movement less, we start to feel less, until at some point we've actually lost the ability to fully control our muscles or to accurately sense what is happening. Instead, we feel aches and pains. We notice the chronic diseases, including chronic mental states, that are the results of these patterned repetitive actions that we have little control over. And that's where we get stuck. And this usually worsens over time. It's this vicious cycle that typically leads to less movement, less feeling, and more sensory motor amnesia. Now, what's important to understand is that this is the result of a very normal functioning brain, which is why it is so common. Our brains like to make patterns, to simplify what we are doing. It's efficient. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. The problem only arises in that we can learn patterns that cause pain and dysfunction. We learn to sit at our desk. We can become very stressed chronically until we get stuck there. So the work Hanna developed, his somatic education, is designed specifically to address this issue by reversing sensory motor amnesia and developing sensory motor awareness. See, because the potential for feeling and control is ever present throughout the course of your life, as long as your nerves are in place and the bones haven't broken, you can remember how to fully control your body. You can remember how to more clearly feel what is happening. You can develop as much control over your back, your shoulders, your hips and feet as you currently have over your hand and other parts of you. And the approach is radically different too. This does not require any fancy technology. There are no drugs you can take to do this. There's no lengthy course of therapy either. The process of reversing sensory motor amnesia and all of its resulting problems is learning. It's an educational process. And what you will learn to do is to move better, slower, and with greater control. Subsequently, you will learn to feel more, and you will learn to feel more accurately what is happening in your body. And as you do that, the aches and pains and other problems of aging go away. So if you have questions or comments, please leave them below. Let me know what you think of this video. Keep an eye on this page for more videos about learning, habituation, the myth of aging, brain function, pain relief, and various other somatic topics. And thank you so much for watching.